Hello there, welcome back to Planet Zoo and welcome back to Tiny Zoo. Thanks very much for joining me today. I appreciate your company, of course. So in our last episode we were over this side of the zoo here and we were building our Bengal tiger habitat, which I tried a few new things and some of it worked, some of it maybe didn't so much. Still not convinced by the glass structure, but hey ho, that's life. You can't keep changing everything until you're happy with it, or can you? Yes, you can, but I'm not going to. Anyway, today we are working over this side of the zoo, and here we are. This is what I've done so far. So this is going to be an orangutan habitat. So I wanted to do something a bit different. I wanted it to be sunk into the ground, and the point of that is because I want the orangutans to climb either in trees or on walkways up at the level of the pathway around the top, is my thinking. I also wanted this, so I wanted the pathway to come down here so you could observe from down inside the habitat area, or you can walk around the top here and look down on them. So kind of similar to what I did with the last one with the Bengal tigers, where you could view from the ground level or you could go up to look down on them. Here you're kind of going down to look flat on them, or you're staying up the top to look down on them. That's the idea. So this is what I've done. Obviously I've hollowed it out and I put the barrier in. That was a little bit tricky to get right, but that's just about in place now, and I'm quite lucky really that it's worked out, where I'll obviously just hide the barrier down below here, and then this top piece is perfect now, so I've got it in place where I would actually want it to go. So if you can imagine that this is all hidden over here, then the rest of this barrier here is actually looking exactly how I want it to look now. So yeah, pretty happy with how that's all turned out. So it's going to be quite a tricky procedure to get all of this looking good. So there's going to be a lot of work to be done around these stairs here to fill this in. Obviously this wall needs to be hidden, so no earth around here. All under here, this barrier needs to be hidden. There's gaps up here. There's obviously something along this back wall as well, because obviously this all needs to be hidden. Then I'll probably have to do something on the top here as well to hide the grass. You've got pathway here to be hidden, and a bit of grass up here with a bit of dodgy landscaping that I can't get rid of very easily. Actually, I need to play around with the path a little bit here, so I will get rid of that eventually. And then I need to work out what I'm doing in the middle. There's going to have to be some water in here, and then lots of trees, some platforms. I think the platforms are mostly going to be around the edge, to encourage the orangutans to be sitting up near the top where people can see them. So yeah, there's an awful lot. Orangutans are good climbers, but they don't necessarily do a lot of climbing. They're quite inactive creatures at times. They're not as playful as, for example, chimpanzees. Certainly in this game, I think in real life that's the case as well. They don't run around like chimps do. So I have discovered this recently in one of my other zoos, where I built an orangutan enclosure and then I changed my mind and put some chimpanzees in there instead, because the orangutans just weren't doing what I wanted them to do, which was to be more active and to climb up on thin pathways. Even though the game said they could, they just weren't doing it. Whereas I put some chimps in that habitat now, and they're climbing all over the place. So what I've got to do is be careful in here to make sure that their climbing frames that I build around the outside are nice and thick, you know, nice and wide, and they have a good reason for actually going up there. So there'll be some food enrichment items probably put up there, and bedding as well, to make sure that they've got a good reason to go and sit up on the platforms. So yeah, so it's going to be quite a big project, this one. And it is quite a large area as well. I know I'm trying to keep this quite small, but I think because of the nature of what I'm trying to do here, plus obviously just the area that I had in this corner here, it kind of made sense to make it take up this whole area. And because of what I'm doing with the big trees and big platforms, I kind of think it it needed to be a good size. So there we go. So that's what I am doing. So let me go away and do some work, and I'll be right back in a minute. Proper habitat now. So we have our animals in, as you can see, these lovely orangutans. You've got one male who is the larger. I love these guys. They've got this massive sort of face plate, haven't they? And these big, I don't know what, it's like a chin thing hanging down underneath here. They're very impressive, very intimidating looking creatures. And he has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 girlfriends. Lucky devil. Yeah. So there we go. So that's them in. I've given them a bit of a little a pool here, and then I have filled in a lot of gaps. So you've got this wooden structure coming all the way along the back here now, and then around this side here. I managed to work out the landscaping here, and then that continues on the stairway. Excuse me, stairwell. So you've got these barriers down each side on both sides of the staircase there. The ground is just this simple brick roof, and then I've sunk it into the ground so it looks like a floor tile. I do that a lot. It's a very simple technique, just using roof on the ground. It looks pretty cool, I think. And then on the back, I've gone with this. This is really ugly along the back here. This landscaping, you can never make it look good. So I've just gone with this for now. That may change, but I kind of like the contrast between the two woods. Sort of a dark one and a light one, so that's probably going to stay like that. And then I will do something, maybe a big flower bed or something on the top. Not too sure yet. I put a keeper's hut down here as well, just so that the keepers don't have too far to go. I think there's one. I think I put one up here, didn't I? Yes. So yes, you got a keeper's hut up there, but I thought I might as well squeeze one in down there as well. So there we go. So that is looking much more like a habitat now, isn't it? I think you can sort of get a bit more of an image of what I'm trying to achieve with it. Also just played around with the barrier as well. Originally this barrier came at an angle down to join this one, which just looked silly. There's no need for it. So I flattened that one out there. And the same on this side as well. Just make it just go straight in there. And then it just continues up here. So still got a bit of a fiddly area just here to work out. I need to do something with that. Obviously I need to cover this up with a little house building here. There'll be some seating because there's a pathway right under here, so there'll be some seating along here. I might do some sort of a cover in the middle here, some sort of a seating area. Like I say, there's probably going to be a flower bed along the top here. Obviously there's a lot to do inside here with the platforms and the foliage. And then just some little details like working out what I'm doing at the edge here. Obviously there's bits like this that I need to cover up. This may just be a case of continuing this barrier all the way up to here, just to stop people jumping off the edge. But actually I think it's looking pretty cool. I like this wooden edge now. I think it looks much yeah, it looks right for the sort of the look of the habitat that I'm going for. Our orangutans are pretty happy, although they probably want something to hide under and climb on. So let me go away again and crack on with a bit more of that, and I'll see what creative stuff I can come up with. Right, so I've got a few bits and pieces done now. So I put in the flower bed along the top here. I just used the same wood and this obviously the soil. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to plant this up yet. It might be trees, might be shrubs, not too sure yet. That depends on how the rest of the habitat looks, but it's nice. It fills the gap in nicely up the top. So yeah, I think that's going to work really nicely. Coming down here, I did decide to put a shelter down here. I thought it looked like a big open area, and it just didn't quite work. So I built a simple wooden structure, put some lights in here. So I had to put an extra level of the roof here, and then I like these big ball lights. Just looks like they're hanging from the ceiling. Which is pretty cool, and I've obviously kept it all nice and open with these archway pieces because I really wanted it. I didn't want anything blocked off, and it worked really nicely actually the way it fits in here. So you can you walk down the stairs and you're going through the archways on both sides, and then you can still see out into the habitat as well. So yeah, I kind of like how that's turned out. Obviously I need to detail things, but as a basic structure I think it looks pretty good. And here I decided to continue the brick theme from the floor to make this building here. Just a little brick building on the side with a slanted roof. I thought that looked kind of nice. Fancy the clock. Something a bit different, isn't it? Obviously you've got a fire hydrant thing here for washing down all this the decking. A light, a switch. Pretty simple, but I think it looks just fine in the corner there. And then I also did, I extended this barrier here. I actually did the same over on this side, you can see. So this is where the barrier ended before. So I just added a bit on extra here, and then I actually just added this little bit here onto the corner. It just felt like it needed something, just as a corner here. It just didn't quite look right without that extra piece, because you end up with a little gap here, and also it kind of mirrors the shape from the flower bed on that side as well, I think, when you look at it from here. And then on this side I decided to go with another flower bed, so just continuing the theme from here, using this nice, I think it's Australian wood, this one, isn't it? Yes, the Australian wooden wall, just so that you had that sort of mirror image of the flower bed on both sides, because there was basically just a gap there and I didn't know what to put in, so I thought, yeah, let's just put a flower bed in. It's pretty much my rule of thumb in this game. If you've got a gap, stick a flower bed in it. You can't really go wrong with that. Got a bit of grass sticking out there, so I need to paint the terrain a little bit. But yeah, other than that, I think that's sort of all I've done in this session. But that is quite significant. It really starts to look more like a proper habitat now, with these little details, you know, gaps filled in, a few more structures. I wanted to get all of this sort of structure work done first before I start looking into the habitat and actually building in the foliage. It can get a little bit tricky to do the structures after the foliage, so that's why I tend to do all the big structural things first, and then you do the details at the end. I think that's looking pretty nice actually now as a habitat. I think if you were approaching this area, say from over here, I think it would intrigue you. I think you'd look in and go, wow, look at that, I want to go down there. Let's let's head down the steps and check out the orangutan. Oh, you can go into the ground, you can go, look at that, you can go under the stairs, a mystery little area. Wouldn't it be fun if I put secrets hidden under the stairs? I don't know what I'd do, but maybe dead bodies, or I don't know, some sort of a, oh, I don't know, I'm getting a bit dark now, aren't I? I could have treasure chests, you know, hidden back here, like little pirate coves or something. Oh, that's an idea, isn't it? Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling again. Okay, so there we go. So that is where I'm up to now. So I think I do need to start getting into the habitat here now. Start thinking about the structures that I want to do around the outside with the platforms. So that's probably what I'm going to do next, I think. So I'm going to go away again and I will be right back. Apologise here because I've accidentally recorded a save game over the top of another save game. So you've actually missed a stage. So there's an awful lot that's happened now. As you can see, it's really starting to look like a finished habitat, because it basically is. So I'm really sorry, but I will explain to you what I've done. I mean, it's fairly straightforward. So first what I did was build these platforms around the outside. So these are really simple. They're using the climbable pieces. So you've got these nice flat areas up here with big wide pathways connected sort of this way and that way, and so the animals have got lots of options of where to walk. So you've got enrichment items here, you've got them up here, you've got bedding as well. The staff can walk up here as well, so you can have the food enrichment up the top here and the staff can walk up and take care of that. They can also come over this way up onto this one. We've got another food enrichment here and some bedding. As you can see, they do come up here. It means that when you're, a member of the public, you're standing here, look how close you can get. And again, I know that's not realistic. There would be two barriers between you and the animals, but in this game and in this zoo, I'm not too fussed about that. It just needs to look good. Oh look, he's going to use his little feeder. Oh, I love that. That's so realistic. They stick the sticks in and grab stuff. It's great. Great animation. Really, really nice to see. And then there is also another one over here. So again, it's a nice big wide plank platform coming up here. got some more enrichment here, got some more up here, they've got some bedding up here, then they come over here, another enrichment item and some more bedding. So they've got a lot of options of platforms, some underneath, some up on the top. Obviously it also gives them areas down here that are sheltered. Oh, what's happened there? Oh, that just went funky, didn't it? It took me right up. I don't know. I wasn't even pushing a button then, and it just took me flying in the air. That was very strange. What was I saying? Yeah, so they've got a lot of options basically of where they can sit. They can be near the public. They can be away from the public if they want. You know, if they want to be hidden, they can come right down under here and hide in the corner, or even under here, or they can come up on the top here if they want to be near the people. It is entirely up to them. So that was the first thing I did, and then I saved the game, and then unfortunately I then did the foliage and saved the game over the top of the last one by mistake. So yeah, very sorry, but I am quite stupid sometimes. So this is the foliage. So again, pretty simple. Got these lovely big trees in the middle here. Can't remember what these ones are. Scots pine, these ones. So these are climbable. I don't think the orangutans do actually climb on these ones. I think chimpanzees would, but not the orangutans. As you can see, they are making use of my nice platforms. They do go all the way up on all of these, which is really good to see. I love them as well. See, they're very slow moving orangutans. They don't do anything too quickly. He's going to walk straight through the post, isn't he? Just as I say how good the animation is, look at that. I don't know what he's doing. What is he doing? Dude, you've got your head in the middle of a bit of wood. What are you thinking? What are you doing? That's just mad, isn't it? Generally, the animation is brilliant in this game, but he seems to have got stuck in some way. I mean, that's not a natural position, is it? There you go. His friend woke him up. That was quite bizarre, wasn't it? Oh dear, you got to laugh. Got to laugh. Oh look, the football's going flying. It's going to fall off. Oh, I didn't quite push it hard enough. He's going to curl up and have a snooze. Oh, where did his friend go? Oh, he went over that way. Oh, look, they're sleeping all over the place up here. There's orangutans all over the place. Brilliant. Anyway, what was I talking about? Yes, so the foliage. Sorry, I get distracted very easily. So there's lots of these trees that they can climb up. And then there's just a few. I wanted a little bit of colour. It was looking quite green, so I put some of these tamarind trees in. I really like these. It's probably my favourite tree in the game, these tamarinds, just because of the colour. They just look fantastic, don't they? Then some foliage down here, some bushes, a bit of bamboo here and there, just covering up some of these gaps. I wanted some nice tall bamboo so that you've got some coming right up to the eye level of the customers up here. Trees in the corners as well, more bamboo in this corner here. And then from down here, excuse my dodgy camera work, from down here you can see pretty well. I didn't want it too blocked. I wanted you to be able to see right to the back of the habitat from down here. So there's a few shrubs, some of this lovely ground cover stuff as well, but not too much. I moved this gate. I think originally it was a little bit more over here somewhere. Didn't make sense, so I moved it over here near the keeper's hut. There's also some more enrichment items down the bottom here. So you've got this grab ball in the corner here. You've got a foraging tray here. A termite feeder there, a cardboard box, a ball, and another big feeder here as well. So there's a lot of different enrichment items for people to enjoy, or for the animals to enjoy, I guess, and for the people to enjoy watching them. Didn't do too much with the water. I didn't want it to look too crowded in the water. So just a few of these lilies sitting on the top. That's all the decoration I felt that it needed. Oh, there's a tyre over here as well, so I forgot about that. So yeah, looking really nice. So really, that's kind of the habitat done. So what I need to do now is just the detailing. So you've got all of this area down here. So I want to get some seating down here. Probably under here as well, and maybe just a little bit over this side. I'm not too sure yet. I just want to do something so that you haven't got these big empty areas. And I haven't decided yet what I'm doing with the flower bed at the top here or this one over here. So that's what I need to do as well. I'm not going to worry about sorting this pathway out until I know what's going to be built in this area here. And obviously the same over here as well. I've covered this pathway up until here. And this will probably continue this way, but until I know what I'm building here, there's no need to do that. So there we go. So yeah, again I do apologise that you've missed a step, but at least you can still see my work and what I've done. I think it's looking really, really nice, and I'm very glad that I did it sunk into the ground, because I think if I'd done this raised up, it just wouldn't have the same effect. I like that you're looking down, because obviously with all these platforms here, if this was built at normal height, all these platforms would be up high and you wouldn't be able to see anything going on. So that was my thinking behind that, and I think that's worked really nicely. So I'm certainly pleased with my decision to sink it into the ground. So let me just go away and do the finishing touches, and I'll be back once the habitat is complete. With our finished habitat, and I think it's turned out really nice actually. I'm very happy with this whole area. I think it's turned out better than I expected, to be honest. So let me just talk you through my finishing touches. So this was the main thing, was working out what I was going to do with this along the back here, and I did try a couple of different things. I tried planting it up with shrubs, and it didn't work. It didn't have enough height. And then I tried putting flowers in it, and again it just looked a bit too busy, you know, too much going on. And then I found this is Virginia creeper, I believe this. So usually this goes up a wall, but I thought actually it looked really good if you just put it flat. It just looks like it's creeping along through the bed. So I just went with that all the way through it, and then just a few of these umbrella trees. I just wanted some height and some shade, and I think they work really nicely, so I'm more than happy with that. And I did the same in the other little bed over here, and then I just put a couple of these nice palms in here, just to sort of finish off this area. I think that looks cool as a little entrance way down into there. I put a little orangutan statue in the corner there. I kind of like that as an entrance here, so as you come along, and if you don't know that there's orangutans down there, well, I mean, obviously when they're sitting right there you do, but if you didn't see them, you'd get to hear and think, oh, orangutans, nice. So there we go. So that's that flower bed. I put some lights along the front here as well, because this was a bit empty, but I didn't know what to do really along here, so I thought it made sense to have some lighting along there. And then as we come down here, so this was the last few bits of detail that I needed. Again, just some very simple seating under here, and over this side I've done, again, just a couple of seats in a bin, and then a big orangutan face on the wall. As if you didn't know that you were sitting here looking at orangutans, there's now an orangutan face on the wall as well, just to really hammer home the fact that this is an orangutan enclosure. Over this side there's a bit more detail, because obviously I wanted to get some seating here, but I also needed to get these information boards over this side. So I've done two, just simple surrounds with some wooden posts and some of these stone pillars. I think they look really nice there, sitting on the wall. And then this corner, the pathway was curved here, so I couldn't really do seating along the back. But it worked quite nicely. I could do a seat at the end here with a bin, and then a couple of food things, a food and a drink one here. I thought, you know, these are really handy little items. If you've got a gap to fill, you stick things like this, because this is what you get all the time in zoos. You get these little food machines around because it's a quick money maker. Again, I wanted to do something up here because this was a very big gap. It just looks a bit empty, so I decided to put this on the wall here. I can't actually remember what this is called, whether it's, yeah, it is actually an orangutan, yeah. So I searched for orangutan stuff and this came up, so that is actually an orangutan outline, so that looks cool. I've put it right at the top so it does sort of look like he's clinging on to the wall properly. And then I wanted something in the corner here, because again, without this tree here, this is quite a big blank corner, and I didn't really know what to do, so I thought, you know, if in doubt, stick a tree in. So I put in one of my flower beds, so this one down here, you can see I've just sunk that into the wall. And obviously the tree itself, I've had to put it at an angle, because if it went straight up, it was just, all the foliage was disappearing into the surrounding structure, which looked stupid. So all I did was just bend it at an angle so it leans out over the top, which looks really nice, because it looks like it would have grown like that on purpose to lean away from the wall and to get into the light. Casts a bit of shade potentially down here, although actually at the way it is at the moment, that seat is in a perfect little spot of sunshine down there. But yeah, so then you've got it coming up to sort of head height. So actually when you come out here, this palm tree is at perfect head height, which I really like as well. It just fills this gap in here and sort of creates a tunnel effect with this branch. I turned this on purpose so this branch was hanging right over the pathway here, so it creates this kind of a tunnel here that you have to walk through to get downstairs. And there we go. So that's I think that was the last of the detailing that I did. A block of frozen fruit. That was another one of the items that I missed last time, and another ball. In fact, wow! I put pretty much every enrichment item I could down in this habitat. I love looking at these things. They look so peaceful, orangutans, don't they? Very calm animals, orangutans. You never really see them getting overly animated, which I like. So, yeah, there we go. So that is our orangutan habitat. And it is a bit on the big side. I think it's probably quite comparable to my bear habitat that I did over here. It may be a slightly bigger area. Same idea, obviously, having it sunk down into the ground. But it's, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it worked well for the bears, and now it's worked well for the orangutans. So yeah, I'm more than happy with repeating ideas, as long as it's a little bit different animal and different different techniques. There's nothing wrong with copying a good idea. So there we go. So that is our next habitat done. This zoo is coming along quite nicely now, isn't it? I mean, it's a good size. It's getting there. Can you imagine if I could actually fill this whole thing up eventually? You never know. I mean, I know I've said this on various videos. I am getting my computer upgraded, so I will actually be able to build bigger zoos because my processor will be able to handle it. I don't know when that's going to happen. I'm waiting and waiting for my brother to come along and do it all for me, because I am hopeless when it comes to computers and I can't do it myself. So hopefully that will happen soon, and then I can start going back into some of my older zoos and starting to expand them, because at the moment they're just too big and my processor can't handle it and it gets very laggy, so that it's just not practical to do any building in them. I think I'm actually going to get to that stage possibly with a couple of my newer zoos as well. I mean, even this one, at the moment is absolutely fine. I think I could probably get this one to double this size of this before it started lagging. And of course the first thing I do when it does start lagging is take the animals out of the zoo, and then you can take the staff out of the zoo as well, and that really speeds up the processing power. So there are things that I can do to keep it going. At the moment this is running just fine, and I really like the look of this zoo. I think as I just scroll around it here at a distance, it is coming together really nicely. It looks like a lovely place. You would definitely want to visit here, wouldn't you? It's a very pleasant looking zoo, lots going on, lots of habitats, lots of different animals, lots of different environments, lots of foliage. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how this zoo is coming together actually. Really like it. Still not convinced by this glass over here though. I'm still not convinced. Don't know. Answers on a postcard, people. I might, do you know what I might do is actually, it may be that this little extension bit here needs to come off and just keep it as this L shape. I think if I can then blend more foliage around the outside here, I think it will kind of blend it in a bit more. Maybe I can get something raised and kind of hanging over the top of it just to hide it a little bit, because I do like the tunnel. I like it as an idea, and I like my thinking behind it, creating that sort of tropical feel. But it does just stand out a little bit too much, doesn't it? So yeah. We'll see. When I start building over there again, I'll have to decide, won't I? But for now, that's going to be it. I don't know what my next habitat is going to be, so I can't give you any spoilers, I'm afraid. Sometimes when I record these, I've already built more, but at the moment, this is as far as I've got in this zoo. So I don't know, but it's probably going to be in the middle over this way, around the back of the bears, possibly. I did think if I do a habitat here, I'm probably going to have to try and build a pathway coming down, build some steps as an extension from the pathway that's up here. I think I left the path in under here. Did I or did I not? I mean, if I didn't, then I can't. We'll see. Yes, I did. Look, so there is a pathway under here. Oh no, it doesn't join together, does it? Actually, so that. Okay, so I'll have to put a fake pathway coming down here. I mean, it doesn't. I'm never going to let guests into the zoo, so it doesn't actually matter. So I'll build a fake pathway coming off of here to connect to a habitat that's going on here, and obviously you've got this one over here as well. So this is probably where I'm going to build next. I have got an idea of what it's going to be, but I don't know if it's going to work, so I'm not going to tell you until I've started building it. Right, so that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate you spending some of your spare time with me in my tiny zoo. And hopefully you can join me again next time. But until then, do take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon. Bye.